and welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the weekly reading for the sign of Sagittarius. This is going to be for March 1st to the 7th. Alright, we're going to get right into pulling out your 3 romance angel messages, Sagittarius. Alright, guys? Alright, let's get right into it. I'm Sagittarius myself, so I love reading for my brothers and sisters out there. Love being a Sagittarius. Alright, guys, stay optimistic about your love life is your first message. We have engagement. So some of you, your love lives are certainly stepping up in commitment, right? And playfulness. Now, playfulness has come out for quite a few signs this week for the weeklies. So I guess it's a feeling for everyone to kind of get a little bit more relaxed. I don't know if we're coming out of that Mercury retrograde just yet. I'm not an astrologer, so I have to double check with my astrology channels to see on that. But hopefully we will be. And so the message for the first week of March for a lot of people is to be playful. Certainly for my readings anyway. Now we're going to go ahead and pull out your animal spirits, my lovely Sagittarius, just to see what animal spirits you might be walking with this week, or you might be engaging with this week, you know, the type of energies that might be impacting, you know, your events, your meetings with people, right? Various occurrences this week. All right, let's check it out. Sagittarius for March 1st to the 7th. All right, we have the elk. This is the card for the father. All right. We have the bat, the darkness before the dawn, air energy. We have earth and air. And we have the shark. Wow, Sagittarius. All right, let's see here. We're going to get right into that before we pull out your spread. The elk is the card in the deck for the father, the great father, the wisdom of the father, the experience. You can see the antlers are symbolic of the authority, right? The authority that this elk has, the authority to make the decisions, the wisdom. It's a crown of sorts, right? So the elk is absolutely this alpha character, this very dominant male character, certainly a father figure. However, the elk can get a little overbearing sometimes, and so you do have to watch out. If you're resonating with this energy yourself, or you may be dealing with a father or dealing with father issues right now, and the issue could be that the father figure in this scenario, whatever scenario, is a little overbearing, a little too strict or severe, right? Sometimes the elk can be very egocentric because of its nature of always being the one in charge. It can begin to sort of kind of go overboard, right? And so sometimes this can be the source of father issues that you may have if you are the father, if you're dealing with your father. Now the bat is the darkness before the dawn. And here we talk about the spirit of the bat comes in when we really need to deal with, you know, leftover emotions or feelings or ideas that we have that we might be still holding on to, right? Sometimes we have certain opinions about things, right? And you know, this is an air energy animal spirit. So we're talking about the darkness before the dawn. And when I mean like leftover ideas, things that are in the recesses of our mind, you know, like opinions that we may have about people, criticisms, or things that we may have held on to that actually later on can really kind of come out of the darkness and really sort of, you know, mess up our future in a way, right? When you have a dawn is sort of symbolic of a rebirth. And so the bat, spirit of the bat is really talking about, for those of you who are really seeking to have like a rebirth, like a real change, right, in your life, a real new kind of life, or a new path, or new dawning, right, in your life happening, then you do have to deal with whatever might still be lingering, right, in your mind, in your heart, in your psyche, about certain things that are still attached to your past. And you have to be willing to sort of look at them and let go, right? Now, these could be habits or ideas about people. They could be like lingering relationships or connections with people that really no longer suit you. But in any case, the spirit of the bat is there to really seek out anything that needs to be purged before you're about to embark in a whole new sort of life for yourself, right? Now, the shark here talks about earth, is water energy, and talks about emotions that are lingering beneath the surface, right? The shark is, spirit of the shark is there when we really have feelings that we don't want to talk about. You know, we may be be pretending that we're happy in a relationship when we're truly not. We could be, just whatever our true feelings are, we're just seemingly unwilling to share them, right? It could be fear of losing what we have now, or rocking the boat, or, just not wanting to face up to how you truly feel about a particular situation. And it's dangerous because eventually those feelings will come out, but they're not going to come out under your control, right? Just like the shark. If you ignore the shark, the shark comes out of nowhere and sort of, swims up to the coast, right? Swims up to the bay or where have you, where people are at, right? I mean, if you're thinking about that scary image, right? You're out snorkeling and up comes the shark, and it really comes out of nowhere. And so this is what we're talking about. These feelings, they can be lingering there. You can think that everything is okay, and then suddenly they will explode, or they will come out in such a way that you aren't in control of them anymore, right? Because you've allowed them to sort of fester and fester. So just be very careful with that. And you'll know what I'm talking about, because when the spirit of the shark is in your life, you're starting to feel like you just can't keep these feelings under wraps anymore, right? It's starting to become harder and harder and harder for you. You really need to deal with it before it becomes like a situation that's out of your control. All right, Sagittarius, we're going to pull out 3 spreads for you this week to see what your week may or may not be like. Okay. This is going to be for March 1st to the 7th for Sagittarius. Had some strong animal spirits there this week. It's quite interesting. All right, Sagittarius, straight out we have the Empress, 3 of Wands, and you have the 9 of Swords. Some of you are coming into this week certainly with a feeling of wanting to really get busy with your business or your career, right? The Queen of Pentacles is all about putting her whole heart into anything that she does. So she's emotionally invested, right? She's been showing up a lot lately for the weeklies, and it just highlights that I believe March is going to be a big month for a lot of people career-wise and business-wise. You're going to be getting right back into the swing of things. February was a bit of a lull period. It was a little bit of a difficult month. And I feel like here we are, Queen of Pentacles. She's ready to get right back into working, into like really putting her all into the goal that she has set before her. Certainly she's emotionally invested and she's excited about it. Again, she understands what it takes, and she has that strength to do it. This week you come into a 3 of Wands energy though, and 3 of Wands is generally a timing thing that happens. For instance, sometimes life kind of slows you down to allow another event to come in. Now that event could just be a conversation or somebody that you're meeting or what have you, but whatever it is, 3 of Wands is the card for virtue and patience, right? And so you were being forced to, in some ways, have patience, even though you're raring to go here with this Queen of Pentacles and you know what it takes, right? You know what you're going to have to do next. This week, for whatever reason, events are going to happen in such a way where you're going to be kind of forced to put the brakes on. You may be forced to wait for a moment before you can move forward with a decision. By the end of the week, you have a 9 of Swords. I'm going to say you're going to be feeling very anxious about the whole thing, Sagittarius. And it could just be that right now things are slowing down for you and you're feeling really anxious and nervous about it, right? You're having some sleepless nights here with this Knight of Swords. This is certainly going to be about your career or your business, right? And I'm going to say for you, it's going to be maybe a bit of a tricky week, right? This week may be difficult for you because you're having to have so much patience. Things may not be rolling as quickly as you want to, but understand this. The 3 of Wands generally always happens because we need to slow down to allow something else to happen for our greater good, right? As difficult as it is to slow down sometimes, it is what's necessary. And you may stand still for a second, but the leaps you're going to make going forward will be much greater than you would have had you just kept on going. 9 of Swords is generally an anxiety, but it doesn't necessarily have any kind of reality attached to it, right? It generally doesn't necessarily mean that, everything is as bad as you're thinking it is. This is the card for anxiety, and it's the card for misery that we kind of put on ourselves because we're just having negative thoughts. We're having guilty thoughts perhaps, or thoughts of, inadequacy, feeling, or feeling like, sometimes the 9 of Swords can also be like if you've made like some poor decisions in the past, feeling guilty about them and feeling like now you're getting your karma back. And you know what I mean? It's really unnecessary kind of misery we put on ourselves. It's it's an over amount of guilt, right? It's just too much guilt that we take on sometimes about things that we don't really need to feel that guilty about, and just too much worry. And it's just, I'm going to say, Sagittarius, it'll just be good for you to really just, relax. Try to relax, because doesn't mean anything about the future. And it could very well be that the next week you absolutely begin to, the ball begins to roll again. Remember, you are the Queen of Pentacles, and she sits in a garden. She absolutely manifests her dreams. I mean, she's the Queen of Pentacles, so she's has success and will experience success and has everything that she needs to manifest that success, right? And this is a very strong card, so despite your feelings here, you are still the Queen of Pentacles, and things will start rolling soon. 3 of Cups, the Devil. Oh, and the 7 of Pentacles. Well, some of you are coming into the week doing a lot of socializing and partying with that 3 of Cups, and I think you're getting really you're going to come up against the devil this week, Sagittarius. A lot of temptations for you are coming up in your way. A lot of feelings of, there's going to be triggers, or there are going to be people that trigger you, because you're going to be out and socializing with your friends a lot. A lot of you are going to be partying, perhaps going to some events or what have you. 3 of Cups is all about bonding and loyalty that you have with your friends when you go out. You're going out, you're enjoying time together, talking, what have you, visiting with each other, going to dinner, all of that. Generally celebrating and being close with your friends. However, coming up against that devil energy, there is a feeling this week of you wanting to be quite naughty, right? You may be wanting to drink a little bit more than usual. You may be wanting to be able to be a little risque. You may be wanting to, date or what have, I don't know, whatever the case is, whatever your particular vice is, I want to say, or your sort of thrill is, because the devil talks about, being a bit of a slave to your passions, right? And it can often indicate energy that's coming into you in the form of people, places, and things that, pull you towards a desire for quick gratitude or instant satisfaction, right? And that can be addictive. That's addictions. And that's codependent relationships. When you are constantly back and forth with somebody, it's like that instant gratification of fighting and making up. It's the makeup, which is the instant gratification, right? So that's the nature, when we talk about toxic and codependent relationships. In any case, the devil is just an energy that we all have within us. It is a desire or a drive that we all have within us, possibly when we are not so fulfilled, right? When we're a little bit unfulfilled in other areas of our lives, then this area of our life can begin to take over, because we want that instant gratification, and for that 1 second we feel good. You know what I mean? And so that's the nature of addiction when we're unhappy, right? So just be careful. This is pulling in for you this week. You're going to have triggers. You're going to have people doing this around you, and you're going to be really having to make a lot of decisions. By the end of the week, you do round off with a 7 of Pentacles. And it's interesting because 7 of Pentacles talks about being really sort of unhappy about where you're at. You don't feel like you're a success. You don't feel like you've reached your goals. It may be that for some of you, as a result of what you've been doing this week and going out and about, you've realized that perhaps you need to change some things with regard to your career, right? The fact that you're being pulled so easily, perhaps, and I'm not saying that it's that easy, but the fact that this energy is even having an impact on you, Sagittarius, I think it's making you realize that you're unhappy, perhaps, where you're at with your career, and you might want to make some changes. I think for some of you, by the end of the week, because of your experiences here, you are going to be evaluating, perhaps I need to change some things, go down a different path, look at different avenues or different options, because the work I'm putting in now is not really, for some of you, it's going to feel like it's not giving you the rewards you expected. Page of Swords, 8 of Swords, wow. And the Hierophant. All right, well, Sagittarius, some of you are going to come into this week trying to, maintain your self-esteem and confidence. Trying to maintain your positivity with that Page of Swords. Page of Swords is all about maintaining positivity. It's all about sort of, making sure that, that you don't let, self-doubt or self-negativity or other people's self-doubt and self-negativity in your life, sort of affect you or bring you down. You believe in your concepts, you believe in your ideas, and you know that your plans are going to work out. So you're being very enthusiastic coming into the week. And you come up against the Eight of Swords, which is a really toxic individual, somebody who is like very kind of depressive, kind of, gaslighter. Generally, this is somebody who's like, oh, feel sorry for me. They play the victim. Somehow this is just a really toxic energy for somebody who's coming in, and they generally suck your energy for whatever reason, being around them. Like, you could be feeling really good with this Page of Swords, and coming into somebody with this energy of Eight of Swords can really be like a downer if you allow them. You have to put boundaries in place with these people. And really sort of keep them at a distance, because their energy is all about sort of take, right? So be very careful. This is a really toxic sort of energy you're coming up against. And you round your week off with the Hierophant. I think for some of you, Sagittarius, just this encounter with this toxicity just makes you like sort of double down on your own commitment towards your own spiritual path and staying away from this. This could be somebody, by the way, who you had already broken up with, and they're kind of coming into you this week, right? And maybe, before you know it, right away, you're starting to see that toxic energy that made you leave or made the relationship fall down in the first place. And it's like you really doubled down. By the end of the week, you recommit to sort of staying away from them. Because the Hierophant is all about commitment. It's all about commitment towards your higher self, your spiritual self, staying committed to your morals and your principles, right? And sometimes that can indicate in a love situation, of course, being committed in love. But also it can mean being committed to a path of staying away from toxicity if you've decided to sort of stay away from it. If you've decided to be to stay, to live the life according to your own sort of spiritual and moral code, the life of Dharma, as we say, right? Oftentimes, that is also a commitment to stay away from toxic people. And I think for some of you, Sagittarius, you get this reminder this week when you are engaging with this individual and you absolutely stay like away. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. This is your reading for March 1st to the 7th, your weekly outlook. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and share. Check out your other readings in the description. Your March love reading is out and your 2020 outlooks are out. I'm going to be putting some more videos up this weekend. I'm going to be doing some separation and challenges videos as well to do a little bit more relationship shadow work. So those will be coming out. So don't forget to hit that bell and be subscribed so you can come up and see all my new video premieres. But for right now, Sagittarius, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week for your weekly outlook. Bye-bye now.